general election ballot despite an attempt to block her candidacy by an ally of current Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Mayoral candidate being challenged.
Tiffany Henyard. The self-proclaimed super mayor of Dalton has finally been caught by police following an intensive FBI raid that uncovered the entire scope of her years-long habit of corruption, abuse of authority, and extravagant spending, once touted as a potential leader. Henyard's. The fall from grace has been swift and spectacular, with her facing 22 federal counts, including theft of funds and financial deception. Her luxurious lifestyle, sponsored by taxpayer dollars, strikingly contrasted with the deteriorating financial state of Dalton, a town on the verge of bankruptcy. While the mayor flaunted her wealth, the community was forced to deal with the consequences of her excessive expenditure and financial mismanagement. Henyard's reign of luxury, typified by lavish shopping sprees, high-end travel, and personal indulgences, came at the expense of the very town she was intended to serve. As Dalton's economy continued to spiral, Henyard lived as if she were royalty, funding her luxury lifestyle with public funds while the others struggled. After a lengthy investigation, the FBI issued a series of subpoenas, confirming long-held accusations about Henyard's corrupt conduct. This is not Henyard's first encounter with the law. She had a previous conviction for trespassing, but the charges she now faces are far more serious and extensive. The 22 federal charges against her could result in up to 25 years in prison. One of the most shocking revelations is that Henyard used taxpayer funds to finance personal shopping trips, including a $7,700 spree at Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair on September 1, 2023. While hardworking Dalton residents struggled to make ends meet, they were unaware that their tax dollars were being siphoned off to fund the mayor's extravagant taste. Instead of using her position to improve the community, Henyard treated the mayor's office as her personal playground. She had police officers run errands for her, essentially turning them into a VIP security detail. Meanwhile, her excessive travel habits drained Dalton's finances, with more than $122,000 spent on trips, leaving the town's $6 million surplus depleted and a $36 million deficit in its wake. Perhaps the most shocking instance of her wastefulness was a single driveway project that cost the town a staggering $561,000, an amount that could have been used to address critical community needs, but instead went to maintain Henyard's image and lifestyle, from hiring professional hair and cosmetics teams to enjoying taxpayer-funded motorcades. Henyard's. The focus appeared to be on personal luxury rather than serving the public. Her behavior alienated both residents and municipal employees, many of whom watched helplessly as the town crumbled under her leadership. Public resources that should have been directed towards essential services were instead diverted to fund Henyard's personal desire, leaving Dalton's infrastructure and services to deteriorate. The financial mess Henyard created was so dire. The details of Henyard's alleged actions demonstrate not only gross mismanagement, but also a blatant disregard for the people she was elected to serve. Once seen as an untouchable figure, Hen's empire of extravagance has now come crashing down, and the town is left to pick up the pieces. With Henyard now in custody, the residents of Dalton are left to grapple with the aftermath of her actions. Their once thriving community has been financially ruined, and it remains to be seen. As the judicial proceedings unfold, Dalton citizens can only hope for justice and accountability, hoping that their community will be able to rebuild and that such a terrible failure of leadership will never occur again. Despite having her credit card privileges revoked, Henyard organized a lavish $555,000 party for the town of Dalton, which featured high-profile performers such as Whale and Jay Holiday. Whale was paid $30,000 for a 30-minute performance, and Jay Holiday received $20,000 for his set. Henyard also spent $36,000 on a sound system, comedians, and even hired bouncy houses for $6,600. The event was attended by only roughly 70 individuals. Outspoken community members, such as Jennifer Roberts, condemned the abuse of government monies. Former trustee Val Stubbs called the event as little more than a costly self-promotion ploy, further fueling. The public is outraged. Her actions have only increased public distrust, as federal investigators and concerned taxpayers closely monitor her every move. However, the most significant turn of events came when her former ally and right-hand woman, Carmen Carlisle, stepped forward with damning evidence of the mayor's misconduct for 2 years. Carlisle had a front-row seat to the mayor's alleged misuse of Dalton's fund monies, and claims that she treats the town's budget as her personal piggy bank. Carlisle was first silent, but subsequently became the primary whistleblower in the case, turning over a stack of receipts to federal officials. Her evidence was a bombshell, disclosing the inner workings of Henyard's. Despite rising opposition from people and public figures, she boldly pursued her own interests at the expense of the public. Henyard has shown no signs of slowing down, a move that some feel will only make the burgeoning scandal worse, while Dalton's citizens deal with the fallout from Henyard's alleged financial theft and misbehavior. The FBI's investigation, fueled by Carlisle's first-hand account, has intensified. The latest revelation shed an even darker light on Henyard's actions in office, underscoring her apparent lack of financial responsibility. Even though her credit card privileges had been revoked, she still went ahead with the extravagant party, which cost $555,000 and included performances from Whale and Jay Holiday, among other luxuries. The excessive expenditure has shocked the public, especially given the town's precarious financial circumstances. Valerie Stubbs' assessment of the event as a self-promotion plan catches the broad mood of many who feel deceived by Henyard's misuse of public cash. The town's budget, which was supposed to support important services for the community, was instead diverted to pay the mayor's personal taste and luxurious lifestyle. The decision to organize such an elaborate event for only a limited group of individuals underscores the disparity between Henry's goals and the requirements of Dalton locals who have been struggling to maintain basic services as the investigation unfolds. Hen's former aide Carmen Carlisle has become a central figure in the case. Her testimony has provided investigators with crucial information about Henyard's spending habits and her apparent disregard for public welfare. According to Carlisle, Henyard was not only misappropriating funds but also using her position to promote her own career and image. Carlisle's whistleblowing has provided insight into the true extent of Henyard's actions, leading to the unearthing of receipts that document her financial dealings over the years. The community's mistrust in Henyard has only deepened as more details about her alleged misconduct emerge. Critics, including former trustee Stubbs, have pointed out the stark disparity between Hen's extravagant spending and the low turnout for her events. They argue that her actions demonstrate a clear Henyard's disregard for Dalton's financial well-being, combined with her apparent self-promotion, has made it increasingly difficult for residents to trust their leadership. Despite the growing criticism and the ongoing FBI investigation, Henyard has shown no signs of backing down. Some believe this defiance will only fuel the scandal further, especially as more information about her financial misdeeds comes to light. Now bolstered by Carlisle's first-hand and testimony has put Henyard firmly in the spotlight, federal agents have focused their efforts on uncovering the full extent of her misuse of public funds, including her lavish trips, excessive security detail, and questionable business dealings. They are also looking into her charity work, which according to reports may have been another vehicle for self-promotion rather than genuine community support. The FBI's involvement marks a crucial turning point in the inquiry, showing the agency's dedication to exposing every dollar that was squandered during Henderson's time in office for the inhabitants of Dalton. This is a long overdue response to years of cries for transparency and responsibility. Activists like Brittany Norwood have long been vocal about the need for a thorough investigation, and the FBI's intervention is seen as a necessary step in addressing the town's financial crisis and holding Henyard accountable for her actions. As Henyard's downfall continues to unfold, Dalton residents are forced to grapple with the devastating consequences of her actions. The town has been rocked by the scandal, and many are struggling to comprehend how their leader could have compared the situation to a reality TV show in which Henyard presented herself as a glamorous, larger-than-life figure, while the town's financial reality was crumbling beneath her. Despite the overwhelming evidence and mounting public outrage, Henyard has continued to act as if nothing has changed, maintaining her image as a confident and self-assured leader, even as federal agents have reportedly been using advanced surveillance techniques to track potential. The stark contrast between Henyard's public persona and the financial catastrophe she has caused has left many locals frustrated and confused. The situation in Dalton has become increasingly surreal, with the mayor appearing to ignore the growing calls for accountability and transparency, while the town's residents have watched in dismay as their once thriving community has teetered. On the brink of financial collapse, Henyard continues to push her image of business as usual, despite increased pressure from federal investigators and the public's growing displeasure. May soon force her to confront the reality of her actions when Henyard finally turned herself into the FBI. It sent shockwaves through Dalton. One moment she was carrying on with her daily activities, as if nothing had happened. The next, she voluntarily surrendered to federal custody. This dramatic turn of events has left many wondering why she would suddenly give up her opulent lifestyle. Some suspect that Henyard may be attempting to negotiate a deal with federal prosecutors by agreeing to expose other individuals involved in her alleged scams in exchange for leniency, regardless of her intentions. Henyard's public image. Henyard's public image has disintegrated. Sources claim that she is unable to pay her legal bills, which forced her lawyer to drop her lawsuit. The previously flawless image of the supermayor has been destroyed, and Henyard now finds herself facing the harsh reality of jail life. Her UI, ascent to prominence propelled by financial mismanagement and a network of influence, looks to have come to a screeching halt as the inquiry proceeds and more details surface. Residents of Dalton must cope with the significant damages Henyard's activities have caused the damage to the town's economy. The erosion of public confidence and the betrayal of the community's faith in its elected authorities will have long-term consequences for the municipality. Tiffany Henyard's term as mayor of Dalton, Illinois, has been a scandal-ridden period that has left the town suffering under nearly $20 million in debt and millions of dollars unaccounted for as her financial incompetence and unscrupulous deeds continue to come to light. The municipality is dealing with the fallout of her Rain Hens acts, which range from an excessive spending spree to charges of sexual misconduct and intimidation, which have not only caused financial devastation, but also generated a toxic climate that destroyed the community's trust in local government. The story of Hen's rise and fall has become a cautionary tale about uncontrolled authority, personal avarice, and the far-reaching effects of political corruption from the beginning of her administration. Henyard shown a level of arrogance and power that was frightening to many inhabitants of Dalton as the town's finances began to slide into catastrophe, with debt growing and money suddenly disappearing. Henna made a controversial move to adopt an ordinance that would cut her successor's income to a meager $25,000 per year. This move, widely seen as an attempt to ensure that no one could challenge your power, was just one example of how Henyard sought to consolidate control over the town, further exacerbating the town's fiscal crisis, which was compounded by Hen's blatant disregard for financial prudence. One of the most surprising disclosures was that Hannah spent $440,000 in a single day on Amazon, an astounding sum that represented her irresponsibility with taxpayer cash. As more former employees came forward with their own stories of mistreatment, it became clear that beyond financial corruption, as the FBI continued its investigation, the residents of Dalton found themselves at a crossroads. While Hen's arrest brought a sense of relief to some, it also raised new questions about the future of the town and its ability to recover from the damage done under her leadership. The community's trust and local government had been shattered, and the road to recovery would be long and arduous. The town would need to rebuild infrastructure, restore FINA corruption and mismanagement had depleted the town's coffers, and the cost of clearing up the problem. The financial devastation caused by Hen's actions would take years to undo, and the town's residents were left grappling with the uncertainty of how to move forward. Despite the challenges, there was a glimmer of hope for the future. The community's resilience and determination to rebuild were evident in the way that local residents and former employees rallied for justice and accountability. It was widely agreed that the only way ahead was to rebuild the town from the ground up, ensuring transparency, trust, and accountability central to the reconstruction process. The hope was that the lessons learned from Hen's time in office would serve as a foundation for a more transparent, ethical, and effective government in the future. As the legal proceedings against Henyard unfolded, the question remained whether the town would be able to restore faith in its leaders and emerge from this dark chapter stronger than before. While Hen's downfall had brought some measure of justice, the town still faced an uphill battle to heal the wounds caused by justice and accountability. The road ahead would be difficult, but the opportunity to rebuild from the ashes of Henry's mismanagement represented a chance for true transformation. The town's ability to heal, rebuild, and grow would depend on its residents' commitment to ensuring that the mistakes of the past were never repeated. In the end, Hen's fall from grace serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the devastating consequences of personal greed and misconduct. It is a cautionary tale of how one individual's actions can ripple through an entire community, leaving lasting scars that take years to heal. The road ahead may be long, but the journey to healing begins with one step toward justice and reform.